I want to clarify some things about wholesaling real estate, but that I feel like a lot of gurus and um, I want to say, um, course teachers are not telling you. Wholesaling real estate is extremely hard. Okay, I mean, it's one of the hardest things that you could do, yet it's actually one of the most profitable things that you could do on a low budget. So let's kind of go over some reasons why someone would want to wholesale real estate and some reasons why someone with money would not want to wholesale real estate. So I'm going to go over the person who doesn't have much money, who wants to make money and kind of quit their day job. So the first thing you have to understand about wholesaling real estate is that it's market driven. You have to look at the macro level or the national level first, and then truncate that down to the local level. So what I mean by that is that if interest rates like how they are right now, the beginning of 2024, they're still in the 6% to 7% range for a lot of people, depending on your credit score. That's going to dictate the flip market. It's going to dictate how much flippers can actually pay for properties. So that's going to kind of change how much they can pay for a distressed property or a property that is in disrepair that needs a lot of work. So back in 2021, I mean, shoot, I made over $500,000. I was killing it, crushing it, and things of that nature. I had all kind of hedge funds that was buying from me, and they were buying at like 90, 95, even over 100% of ARV. It was nuts. It was like the wild, wild west. But what happened was just that right around June, July of 2022, those hedge funds stopped buying as high as a percentage of ARV as they used to. And all because at the end of the day, guys, I'm just going to keep it real with you. I mean, everybody, whether they purchase with cash, if they're buying whole real estate, they're going to refinance at some point. And the dollar that they refinance at is going to dictate what they purchase in cash all the time. Because, right, when interest rates were down to like 3, maybe even 2.5%, money was cheap. You hear a lot of seasoned veterans say money was cheap. Well, it was cheap. All right. Well, now you got a situation where interest rates up at like 6, 7%. I mean, a couple months ago, as of this recording, I mean, it was up at 8%. I mean, money was not cheap at all. I mean, it was pretty hard to get any burr, meaning, buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat, any of those types of properties to work. And those are going to be the best buyers for you. So wholesaling real estate is dictated by the national market. Now let's go down to the local market. The local market, I kind of shed some light on it, but every market is different. And what I mean by that is this. If you look at a market like Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, most of the stock in Pittsburgh is older stock. I'm talking about properties that have been built prior to 1950. They're going to be 75, 80-year-old, 100-year-old properties in Pittsburgh, right? As opposed to Florida or Texas, where there are going to be a lot of properties built in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, right? Well, on a local level, buyers are going to be expecting deeper discounts in Pittsburgh as opposed to the southern states or the Sun Belt, where the quality of the construction is actually better, because a lot of if a property is older, it's going to need more repairs, right? So that's something that you got to take into account on the local level. And some cities just have more older properties than other ones. So those purchase prices that you're getting as wholesalers are just going to be down, right? Especially if you don't have any hedge fund influence, right? That makes it harder. If you are located in a state that's a Sun Belt state like a Texas or Florida or Georgia or something like that, then you probably had a lot more success if you're active, if you're trying to get into the game. Those are some areas that you could target, but the only caveat is that there's a lot of competition, especially on the pay-per-click side of things or the SEO side of things. A lot of people can just go and say, sell my house fast for cash and find a local home buyer or even a national, like, wholesale outfit that are intaking leads, right? That they're selling the leads, or maybe they're keeping the leads and they're doing some virtual wholesaling. So there was a whole lot that we learned during the pandemic, and one of those things were how to master PPC. And so that's going to affect the local level extremely because, um, when you're looking at the Sun Belt or even out west, I mean, out west, the numbers, it's hard to work anyway on a lot of properties, but in the Sun Belt specifically, where properties are, more better quality construction and things of that nature, buyers will pay a little bit more because there's still a lot of people that are coming into those metropolitans. Like Dallas is now eclipsed New York as far as population is concerned, or really close to it. Houston is almost 8 million people. So you have a lot of people that are flocking there, like Austin, tech hubs, and things of that nature. But in the Midwest, you may be able to get properties for cheaper with sellers because they don't expect to actually get as much money. So on the local level, to kind of sum it up, if you're targeting cities that have older stock, those sellers should theoretically sell less. And I have proof of that. I've done deals in like St. Louis and Indianapolis, and people do sell cheaper, in those areas than they do down in like Georgia or North Carolina and things of that nature. So that is something that you have to be cognizant of if you're a new wholesaler. All of you seasoned wholesalers know what I'm talking about. But here's the thing, right? Can you do this? Yes. Here's some shortcuts. Buy leads, right? If you actually have some money, make maybe a couple of $1,000s to actually purchase some leads from, some of the data providers then you can make it. Especially if you've tried text messaging, you try cold calling, and you're just not getting warm leads. That way you can also buy leads, right? There's a lot of providers out there who are selling leads. You can do Facebook ads. A lot of the major players are doing Google AdWords, anything to do with like pay-per-click type stuff. That's what they're doing. Okay. They're doing Facebook ads, they're doing meta ads, all that kind of stuff. Me myself, I've tried doing TikTok, right? So no one just has just one marketing channel. They have a whole lot of them, and they actually supplement with text messaging and cold calling and RVM and stuff like that. So text messaging, I used to send out like 10,000 a day. I stopped doing that when the laws kind of changed. I mean, you guys who are still text messaging, you guys know what I'm talking about. Now we have to provide all of this information for the TCPA regulations and stuff like that. I mean, it's a pain in the butt, right? So if you're doing that kind of marketing, then you have to be careful because those people have not signed up on your online platform, on your online form, on your website. So technically you're breaking the law. I don't like breaking the law, so I tend to pay a little bit extra money to be in compliance with the law. If you want to have a long-standing business, you got to think long-standing. You got to have some longevity in your thinking and your thought process if you want to survive in this business. But I want to tell you that here's my advice to you. If you catch your stride wholesaling and you make, let's just say, $250,000, like how I did, right? You make $250,000. What you need to do is you need to pause from wholesaling and go buy something. Go buy a fourplex, go buy a triplex or a duplex, something with multiple doors to supplement you now and start to become a landlord, start to lend money. Pace Morby's teaching the Gator method, where you pretty much you lend money to people on transactions like for earnest money or down payments and things of that nature. Start to diversify your money, because what the market has shown us in 2022, at the end of 2022 and all of 2023, is that we don't know what the heck is going on, okay? And the things that used to work, they're not working as well as they did before. So when you quit that job and when you go out and you work for yourself now as a wholesaler, once you clear about $250,000, do a flip, right? Take out some hard money, get some different experiences, learn some new skills, right? And that's going to take you to the next level because then you're not going to be so dependent upon wholesaling. Wholesaling is hard because you need a seller to raise their hand at your price. And if you cannot give that seller like close to ARV, then they're just they may not want to do the deal because that's how people are wired. People are wired to actually get what Zillow says for their house or Realtor.com says for their house. I mean, we all do that. We all say it's worth $240,000. That's what I want, right? So you understand that the most of the people that you're dealing with, they're not investors. They don't see it that way. They don't want to see it that way. I mean, they want what they want. And so how you get people to sign that contract at those 60% of ARV or 50% of ARV discounts is by making sure that you have either inbound leads coming in, or if you're doing like SMS or texting or direct mail, that you vetted situations like pre-foreclosure. You vetted power of attorney. You vetted probate. You've done a lot of research to make sure that the people who you're reaching out to actually have a situation. Because if they don't, I'm telling you, you're wasting your marketing dollars. We are marketers, okay? There's a lot of people out there that have people thinking that we are real estate investors, but not really. We're really marketers. We really are marketing for real estate. I mean, honestly, like you really, if you were looking at like just even evaluating leads, like a shorthand is just to say like, hey, if I got a clean house at 60% of ARV and like the Sun Belt, I should be able to sell that for like at least 75% of ARV to a buy and hold investor, right? Like you could actually streamline certain things the better you get at wholesaling. But I don't want you newbies thinking that this is a walk in the park. It is not. So right now, if you are starting to wholesale, I used to tell people, hey, go 10 toes down into it. Don't have a job. Don't quit your job. I'm going to tell you that right now. As of January 2024, do not quit your job to wholesale. Wholesale on the side, okay? Put at least $5,000 toward marketing. I would advise some paid marketing in which you have inbound leads that you can actually evaluate. And once you do that, you can kind of see how sellers are interacting with you. Are they motivated to sell? Or do they want market value but are still motivated to sell? Are they just kind of playing the field and using your offer as leverage to get another offer? That's how people are. That's what people do. They use your offer, right, to go and try to push somebody else's offer up that maybe they had a good inclination that they would pay more than you would, or they pit two buyers against each other. Like that's the nature of the game. And then on the selling side, to sell the lead, to actually sell the your contract, right, on an assignment or double close, understand like do not deal with onesie twosie buyers. Don't deal with buyers who have not done like more than like 5 deals in a year. Like only deal with buyers who are doing deals. If you're dealing with people who like say, yeah, I may want to buy a house and yeah, it's on my bucket list. Do not work with those people. They're going to waste your time and your efforts because you spent X amount of thousands of dollars to get leads. It's just going to piss you off and make you want to punch somebody. Like real talk. Sorry, but not sorry. Like this is like real deal Holyfield. You are soliciting for houses at discounts. And because you're doing that, you need a cash buyer who has a reputation, who wants deals, who is buying in this market temperature, who is not afraid or adverse to risk. You need someone who knows the game, who is not going to give you a hard time about doing an assignment or a double close. They don't need to just talk to their attorney because they're skittish about doing a deal. You need a real player right now. You don't need somebody who was playing a couple years ago. You need a real player who is playing now because this is their livelihood. They have a crew that they pay on a monthly basis to do work for them. So with all of that being said, watch all of my videos on how to wholesale. But again, and as of January 2024, The market is not that good. It's just not that good, and sellers still want too much money for their properties. So you need to go through more leads in order for you to convert. And because of that, do not quit your job yet. Now, when you get to the point where you maybe have like 50 grand from wholesaling, then you can think about quitting, right? But I would even say maybe even 100 grand. Don't quit yet, right? Not, I mean, unless your job is just dumpy, but if you're making six figures, wait until you can eclipse how much you're making per year and then quit, right? So that's the truth that I have about wholesaling. Hopefully this clears up some things. And also too, if you go out and you buy a course or something like that, just if they're not keeping it real with you about having multiple marketing channels on how to get deals, do not buy that course. It's not relevant. If they're still telling you just to text message and cold call and do all that kind of stuff and send out direct mail, don't endorse that guru, because they're teaching you antiquated marketing techniques that do not work today. They just don't, right? You need to have inbound leads coming to you. And if you are going to do outbound marketing, you need to do the research that I'm teaching you on this channel. Look at the public record, scrub the list, get a VA, virtual assistant, go to onlinejobs.ph, guys. Onlinejobs.ph, and go find yourself a really good virtual assistant. Vet them out. It may take a couple weeks to find one, but get one if you have some money, and have them go through and do research on all of your leads, right? Teach them the stuff that I'm teaching you and have them scrub that list. Get that list down from 10,000 down to 1,000, and then go hit that list. But while you're doing that, you need to also be looking at for sale by owners, at on market properties. But remember what I always talk about on market. Don't come across as some wholesaler with no money. Make sure that you have a cash buyer who's ready to close if you're going to deal on market. So again, I'm giving you all this because I don't want you guys to be in the dark about wholesaling, and I want you guys to be successful, and I don't want you guys to give up on it because you can make a lot of money. I've made a ton of money, and I know people have made a ton of money. Okay, so if you have money, let's just say you make $200,000, $300,000 a year at your day job, right? I just want to tell you that don't wholesale real estate. The reason being is because you're probably making more money with the skills that you have than trying to learn a whole new skill of like marketing and dealing with people who may or may not want to sell their property at the price that you need them to sell their property at in order for you to profit. I would tell you to make sure that you invest in learning about how to purchase real estate as a buy and hold investor. Because you make so much money already, you need buffers for your tax liability. Okay, essentially, you should be buying fourplexes and fiveplexes and even commercial type apartment buildings when you're making, close to $500,000 a year. That should be what you're looking to do because you have the down payment needed to be able to put down on, like I said, 10plex or something like that. That's the kind of stuff that you should be doing. Don't fool with wholesaling real estate. Wholesaling real estate is for people who don't have much money. Wholesaling real estate is something that a lot of people that do have money, they just acquired that skill and they're just good at it. So they can make $50,000 or $100,000 a month just because they have that skill, right? But if you are new to the game and you don't have that skill, you have money though, or lend your money, right? Lend on transactions. Don't wholesale though. Like help wholesalers out on earnest money deposits and help buyers out on down payments and get equity into a deal and find creative ways to get into deals, but do not wholesale. It's going to be a waste of your time because you're already making a ton of money within the time that you've been given during the day. So that's my advice to you. So keep working, keep pushing, and whatever you do, don't quit. Until next time. Peace.